Welcome to Today we are going to discuss the DLR application techniques in the Rockwell switches, part 6 of 6. If you missed part 1 to 5, we have created the playlist in our channel. Please subscribe to our channel. In the channel, get into the playlist. There we have created DLR application techniques in Rockwell switches and devices, part 1 to 6. What are the things that we are going to discuss? So here we are going to discuss the basics. What is VLAN trunking? What are the requirement distribution of the VLAN trunking? How the DLR VLAN trunking is made with one ring, how we can create it with a multiple ring switch with routing, how we can create DLR VLAN trunking using the outside networks, and how DLR VLAN trunking redundancy gateways and ES subservices made in the network, what are the unsupported network architecture, what are the software tools used for the DLR network monitoring, and how to configure the messaging instructions, and what are the messaging instruction configuring values. So in our discussion, we might be using the standards 5400, 5800 and beta problems. Okay. So first we need to know what is VLAN trunking. A trunk is an action between the switches that carries traffic from multiple VLANs configured on the switches. So why we want to create? So as you can see here, it's like a pipeline or path. Okay. There will be multiple switches. Okay. So but when you create a VLAN trunk, okay, so those concerned devices will communicate only these to that concerned ports. Example port number 7 and 8. Okay. Even though it has a possibility to communicate with through the other paths, but still when the VLAN is configured, so those things, okay, those connection between the switches, it carries the traffic from the multiple VLANs on the switches. So once you create the VLAN ID, different VLAN IDs, those devices will communicate through the concerned switches and also through the concerned ports of it. So that what is the benefit of it? When everything is communicating through the same port, often what will happen, there is a possibility for the traffic to happen. To avoid it, we are creating this VLANs and we are assigning the ports so that only through the concerned port those switches, those devices will communicate, so that we can reduce the traffic. That is the most important thing. So we are carrying the traffic between the different switches through concerned ports. That is the important thing that we are going to create using this VLAN trunking. Okay. Next to that, so the DLR VLAN trunking allows the switches with the multiple VLAN to be connected with the DLR network. Okay. So as the traffic passes to the next in the ring, the traffic can either remain on the same VLAN or it can pass through the different VLANs. Next, what are the requirements and restrictions when you are creating the DLR VLANs? First thing is that you need to follow these guidelines. All the devices in your DLR network must be switches whenever you are creating the DLR. Second thing, all the switches in your DLR must have a DLR enabled trunk ports. Those are very much important. Trunk ports you need to enable. Third thing, routing traffic to the different VLAN require one of the following. If you want to route the traffic to the different VLANs, you need to do the following. First thing, a layer 2 switch using the connected routing in the ring or in the outside ring should be there, and a layer 3 switch or the router in the network in the outside network should be there. Next, do not use multiple routing devices as a ring and VLAN. You cannot exceed the same VLAN across multiple rings. Okay. By default, the trunk port carries traffic from any VLAN. Change the default port settings on each trunk port to allow only the required VLANs. Okay. The capacity and the restrictions that applies to the VLAN and the restriction protocols like REP, STP also apply to the DLR VLAN trunking. Okay. For the best performance, use 5400 and 5800 switches for the DLR VLAN trunkings. Okay. So this is a simple example of a DLR VLAN with a single ring. As you can see here, we have a switch, we have only one ring. So many switches are there, but still we have two different VLANs. Okay, we are using the VLAN as a tree. Next, as you can see here, we have a DLR VLAN trunking. We have multiple rings, ring 1, ring 2 and ring 3. We have also the outside networks as well. But still, as you can see here, we have the VLAN ID as a 3 assigned to it, 4 assigned to it and 5 assigned to it. And also, as you can see, we have the VLAN access to 1, 2, okay, and for the second one we have 5, 6 and we have 8 and 9, okay. So here no VLAN overlaps between the rings. Next method is that DLR VLAN routing in an outside network. As you can see here, we have outside switch. It can be any VLAN. Okay, but already here we are making a restriction that we have 6 VLANs, so that 1, 2 and 3 will pass through the switch and 4, 5, 6 will pass through the switch. Like that we will configure. Next, as you can see here, we have a separate ring 1 and ring 2. Between these two there is no such connections. So we have a native VLAN as a 3 and we have the native VLAN as a 6. And we can access the VLAN as 1, 2 and here we can access as a 4 and 5. Next, the other example is that all the features in a single VLAN. We have the redundancy enabled, so this is primary and this is going to act as a redundant supervisor. Okay, and the DHCP is also enabled here, server, primary as well as a backup DHCP server is enabled. As you can see here, we have ring 1 and ring 2. Okay, and also as you can see here, we have a VLAN trunk here, separate VLAN trunk here, and CIP VLAN ID is also here. So single switch, okay, uplinks to the network with the Ethernet channel, flex and REP and STP, and the redundant gateways also can uplink to the network. Okay, if you connect in a proper way. This is a proper DLR network. And redundant gateway to the outside network also you can connect, but if you are trying to enable it properly like this. Okay, this is very much important for the redundancy. This is going to be active one, this will be the backup one. So what are the unsupported networks? As you can see here, if you try to create a network like this, if direct has any problem here, this is not a loop, it is not a completed one. There will be non-stop traffic if you create a network like this. And also, when you connect your primary chases and secondary chases, okay, to the redundancy gateways, there will be biggest problem. Okay, please don't connect like this. If you have outside network connection already. Okay. Next, uplink via the redundancy gateway and non-redundancy gateway. As you can see here, since if you have a primary switch configuration, but as you can see here, already 2 switches are there. These are getting connected to the devices properly. But in between, if you add one more switch unwantedly, okay, there is a problem for it. Okay. Next, what are the different tools you should know when you want to monitor the DLR? First, you can use Studio 5000 Logic Designer in order to monitor the devices as well as the switches. RS links you can use only for the devices. For switches, you can use the web logger. Web pages you can use only for the devices, and device manager web interface you can use only for the switches. Okay, and CLI you can use only for the switches, and faceplate you can use for both. Okay, and Studio 5000 also you can use for both, and messaging instruction you can use for both. So these are the tools, how it looks like. This is a simple example of the Logic Designer application, how the software will be there. And this is RS Links Classic software. And this is the web login. As you can see here in the Chrome itself, in the Internet Explorer, we log in using the username password. When we get inside it, we can monitor the so many parameters inside it. This is the basic device manager. Using the CLI language also you can operate. And this is the DLR faceplate tool, which is being used for monitoring purposes. As you can see here, it is acting as a primary, and this will be the redundant one. And the entire switches are getting connected here. The unknown device which has no IP address looks like this. We can monitor to the DLR faceplate tools. Okay. As we told you earlier, these are the messaging tools that if you want to use, you can use. First thing, if you want to use the messaging instruction, you need to do the following things. First thing, get the current network topology mode, you need to know. Get the status of the networks. Get the last active node at the end of the chain of the port 1. Okay. Of an active ring supervisor during a ring 4, and get the last active node at the end of the chain of the port 2, and verify the ring fault location, clear the rapid ring faults and clear the partial network faults as well. This is a simple example. As you can see, the basic configuration in the Studio 5000. Okay, CIP generic. These are the basic configurations that we need to make. So here the network topology is there. Okay. Next, in the communication, you need to choose the path. Through which path the communication is going to happen. EN2TR module, you need to through browsing, you need to select it. Okay. After making all the changes, press OK and apply. That is very much important. Okay. So we have so many configuration values for the messaging instructions. As you can see here, we have for the network topology, we can use SIM tags, okay, and for the last active nodes you can use SIM 10, and for the location rapid false, nothing, destination limits is not required, but these values need to be assigned. Then only you can able to see those values, okay. So as we can said earlier, the network topology and network status values you can see using these tables. When you configuring, if you refer this, it will be very useful, okay. So as we told earlier, we have the rapid fault clearance as well. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon if you want to know more and learn more. Please subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, please share this knowledge to everyone so that everyone will get equipped. We can create the knowledge world. Okay. As we told earlier, we as a electrical student, we are providing trainings to the people who are working in the GCC countries, especially the building management field, building automation field, and most importantly, people who are working in metro who want to learn regarding the building automation system, they can. Okay. Thank you so much.